health, and healing.
Man is meant to be a controller of his universe. His body is his own responsibility, and he can express perfect health and vitality provided he knows and obeys the rules that govern perfect functioning of his body. He is a potential healer of his diseases and must know their causes to enable him apply the corresponding therapies. Disease, dis-ease or state of not being at ease, of whatever nature is the result of an abnormal condition in a specific part of the body, brought about either by the lack or an excess of certain elements that are necessary for proper mental, emotional, and physical functioning. The type of food we consume and the liquids we drink may contribute to whether there is an excess or deficiency of needed elements in the body, and this may cause congestion in the system due to poor elimination, or weakness due to the lack of needed inputs of elements. Disease can also be brought about by the thoughts we think and the feelings we entertain. Causes of disease. There are 5 main causes of disease, and therefore 5 types of physicians. Each physician, however, with the proper use of his abilities, can treat all types of disease. The 5 main causes of disease are physiological, psychological, astral, spiritual, and soul causes. The first 2 causes of disease are well known to medical doctors, physiotherapists, and alternate medical healers. The last 3 are usually not known to the majority. Physiological causes of disease. Everything is perfect in itself and nothing is impure if it remains in its original state. When 2 substances come together, they may produce a poisonous effect. Thus man must be careful of what enters his body. What may be good for one person may not necessarily be good for the other. Most animals adhere strictly to the right types of food substances needed for their bodies. Just as animals refuse to eat or drink things that are injurious to them by obeying their natural instincts, so must man use his intelligence to select the right type of food for his body. His choice of food must not be to satisfy his cravings, but to enhance the quality of his health. Man is more susceptible to disease than plants and other animal life forms. What may work for another may not necessarily work for the other. The ox eats grass, the peacock may swallow snakes, and the ostrich stones, but man needs a different type of food. Every living being requires that particular kind of food, which is adapted to its species and to its individual organism, and life, the great alchemist, transforms the food taken. Animals refuse to eat or drink things that are injurious to them, and they may select by their natural instinct those things which they require. It is only Homo sapiens, intellectual man, that disobey his natural instinct and eats and drink things that are injurious to him, but which may gratify some artificially acquired taste. The liberty to make choices makes man more susceptible to diseases. Intemperance, gluttony, and morbid states result in disease. Rheumatism, gout, dropsy, and many other diseases are often caused by accumulation of impure or superfluous elements. Alcohol, narcotics, smoke from cigarettes and machines, and many inorganic substances are elements that have poisonous effects on the body. Also, fatty animal foods, especially from pork, contribute to heart attack, high blood pressure as a result of cholesterol buildup in the human system. Here we cannot ignore the favorite chibom, which certain urban dwellers enjoy so much. Chibom is very fatty fried egg. Eggs must be taken in moderation.
Cures for physiological type of disease. Enema, laxatives, emetics, and diaphoretics are useful in removing poisonous substances in the human system. One can also nourish the body by taking in herbs and natural substances to keep the body in perfect state.
In the natural state, man was created to eat raw food, but when he became wiser than his creator, he cooks, fries, smokes, and roasts his food. Raw cassava is of different nutritional value than the cooked one. Although we have been born into the era of cooked food, we must make space for raw food in our daily meals. Below is a health reset program that you may do at least twice a year to rebuild your health. The Health Reset Program. As its name stands, this program helps you to reset your health by encouraging the body to cleanse and regenerate, thus adding life to your years and years to your life. In the program, you are encouraged to eat organic food as much as possible. We are living in a world that is heavily polluted. The fumes from our cars, wastes from industries, plastic wastes that choke our gutters, and many others are having a toll on our health. You cannot hide from them, but you can do something about your life so that they do not have adverse effect on you. This is a two-phase program and has been useful in the cure of many diseases, including type 2 diabetes. Reset Phase 1. For 3 weeks in the year, eat only fresh vegetables and fruits with a little fish. No carbohydrates, except those that come to you from the fruits like bananas. This will make the body shed the fatty tissues and release the toxins in them. While doing this, you must daily do any exercise that will make the heart pump blood for at least 15 minutes.
1. Avoid all tin or canned foods, including fruit drinks. Keep as close to nature as possible. 2. Avoid meat, chicken, fats and oils, except that you use a very little of vegetable oil to fry your fish.
3. No alcoholic beverages. 4. Drink lots of water, at least 3 liters of water daily. 5. Avoid any artificial or chemicalized seasoning, especially monosodium glutamate foods or its seasonings. 6. Should the body go into preservative mode and you constipate, you may take some mild laxatives. Etherian Mission Healing Center has great cleansing therapies to support.
Reset Phase 2.
After the 3 weeks, continue as before, but this time you take about a tablespoonful of carbohydrate, that is, about the size of 2 thin slices of bread daily, so that you do not develop glucose intolerance. You must remain in this phase for at least another 3 weeks, or as long as you wish. Additional 9 weeks is ideal. People with type 2 diabetes may go on for at least a year. It is advisable for people above 40 years to prolong the second phase for much longer periods. In the Middle Ages, the metabolism in most people drops, and the carbohydrates you take become fatty tissues that are responsible for the so-called middle age spread. Middle age spread is a sign that your body is becoming more prone to disease. What you have to do is to reduce your carbohydrate intake from your middle ages. To do this exercise, I cut my vegetables into small bits, and I put the stew sauce on it or take it with soup. After all, it is the stew sauce or the soup that adds the taste and not the carbohydrate. Rice, for example, has no significant taste. It is the stew on it that gives it taste. Psychological causes of disease. The corporeal world is nothing but a reflection of the mind or mental world. A disease state is often caused by a disease state of mind, and treatment requires working on the mind. Mental treatment consists of giving instructions and applying such remedies as correspond to the state of mind we wish to induce in the patient. Diseases may be caused by uncontrolled passions, evil desires, disordered thoughts, and morbid imagination. Psychological or mental maladjustments could cause physiological changes in the body. For example, fear may cause diarrhea or instantaneous abortion. Melancholy could cause obstructions, and anger or envy might give rise to jaundice. Gaiety may cure and grief may kill. Violent emotions produce miscarriages, apoplexy, spasms and hysteria, and cause malformations of the fetus. Other basic causes of disease under this classification are self-pity, negative self-image, and memory of guilt. Many people whose ailments are attributable to self-pity are perfect hypochondriacs. To them, the universe and all it contains are to blame for their misfortunes, and they see no reason why they must start a new life towards recovery. Those who hold negative self-image are those who deny themselves of joy, health, success, wisdom, and prosperity. Religion has been misinterpreted to teach that heaven is for the poor, disabled, and the dejected. Many Christians, Muslims, and Hindus think along this line. On the contrary, it is not natural to be sick mentally or otherwise. Health and not ailment is our natural state. If a dog bites a man, it is no news because it is natural. But if a man bites a dog, it is unnatural, so it appears as headlines of the news media. When one is sick, he goes to see his doctor for treatment because it is not natural to be sick. In 3 John 1, 2, It reads, "Brethren, I wish above all things that you will prosper and be in health even as your soul prospereth." To prosper means to flourish, thrive, etc. So it is natural to be successful and healthy. Many people carry the guilt of their past failures or mistakes throughout their lives. This depletes their energies and soon causes disease. The easy way out is to learn to forgive themselves. Everyone has failed in something before. You do not live your life feeling sorry for that math problem you could not solve in primary school. You later made the corrections and moved on, and some of these mistakes were even not corrected. Move on, because fresh flowers are blossoming where the old ones died. Cure for psychological type of disease.
Relive each day and analyze all painful events in the day to a joyful determination. Every event has learning, which when learnt brings joy. Soul processing is the absolute cure to such diseases.
Astral causes of disease. Man is a microcosm of the macrocosm. That is, he is a smaller version of the bigger universe that surrounds him. The body of man is 75% of water, and so is the body of the earth. The moon goes round the earth in 28 days, and women see their menses in 28 days cycle. The moon influences the sea, creating the high and low tides. Correspondingly, the influence of the moon gives rise to high and low emotions in people, and in extreme cases causes lunacy, that is, madness influenced by the moon. The above goes to confirm that the Earth and its various life forms are influenced by the other heavenly bodies of planets, stars, and the moons. The influences of these heavenly bodies may cause marked states of diseases or heightened states of health. The knowledge of how these heavenly bodies influence or affect us is useful for the management of health. Conjunctions of certain heavenly bodies may cause disease in certain people who are predisposed to it, and when the conjunction period is over, the disease also disappears. A physician who does not know this may try all of his remedies in vain until the conjunction period is over. It is known, for example, that conjunction between the Moon and Venus may exert negative influence, and the predisposed may manifest marked diseases. The study of the heavenly bodies and their movement is no mean job, and is not the object of this level of study. The knowledge of astral causes of disease will greatly enhance health delivery. It is common observation that certain diseases, such as hay fever and flu, occur mostly in certain times or seasons of the year. The astral influences incline and do not compel. You are the master of your life, and in using the various exercises in this book, you may build a strong and independent aura that attracts the positive influences of the heavenly bodies and repels the negative ones.
Cures for astral type of diseases.
Astral diseases can be cured with amulets, talismans, baths, etc. The sunflower and salai baths, for example, are strong with the vibrations of the sun and can therefore counteract the imbalances in the body deriving from the moon and other influences. The study of vibrational healing has become so common that it gives so much credence to the use of amulets and talismans. For example, the effects of electromagnetic waves from mobile phones have led to the development of neutralizing amulets that may be stuck on the phones. Studies by the ancients and by our ancestors on the effects of the heavenly bodies have shown that the heavenly bodies have strong representation on Earth through plants, minerals, and animals. The vibrational energy of the sun, for example, is known to be akin to that of the sunflower that follows its path, and also to the metal gold. Ps. 104:14 states that God has given us herbs for the service of man.
Spiritual causes of disease. What is not generally known is that evil thoughts or imagination of one person may affect the mind of another, poison his vitality, and injure or kill his body. This is the point where evil witchcraft thrives a lot. The reason why this is not known is that the imagination of the majority of men and women in the present civilization is too weak, their willpower too feeble, and their faith too much pervaded by doubt to produce the desired effects. It is fortunate that their willpower and imagination, however evil it may be, has not much power. This is because looking at the level and state of morality that we have now, we would have had too many evil witches and wizards if men cultivated a strong willpower to serve their evil intentions. Imagination and doubt of self are causes of many diseases. Faith in self is the cure for all. A weak faith is due to lack of knowledge. Absolute knowledge about ourselves and our relationship with the universe, with nature and with God will make us victors in all situations. The power of amulets and talismans do not rest so much in the materials they are made of as in the faith with which they are worn. The curative power of medicine often consists not so much in the spirit that is hidden in them as in the spirit with which they are taken. There are two principles active in man, the spiritual and the physical, 1 Corinthians 15:44. The physical depends on the spiritual, but the spiritual does not necessarily depend on the physical. If the spiritual suffers, the physical will suffer. But if the physical suffers, the spirit need not suffer. The body cannot live without the spirit, but the spirit is not confined to the body. Our spirits communicate with each other without the use of language. If one spirit is angry with another, it may injure him. A person disposed to evil may throw the force of his will upon another person and injure him even if he is weaker than his victim, because the latter may not expect or be prepared for the attack. But if the stronger wards off successfully, a force will be kindled in him which will overcome his enemy and which may even kill him. Such evil persons or necromancers, in order to assist their imagination and strengthen their will, sometimes employ waxen images. Thus a necromancer may bury the waxen image and cover it with heavy stones, and the person the waxen image represents will become miserable until the stones are lifted. Sometimes the leg of the image is broken, and the victim falls and breaks his leg. Not only may a necromancer injure another, but the spirit of envious, jealous, revengeful and wicked persons may, even if they are ignorant of the practice of sorcery, injure the objects of their evil thoughts. Our scientists have no idea of the power of the will and do not believe in it because it is beyond their comprehension and cannot be subjected to laboratory tests. Cures for spiritual type of diseases.
I would here like to emphasize on what my guide said about sorcerers and their victims. God cannot and will not bind anybody, and no human being has the right to do so unless you give that chance out. So the sorcerer has no right to hurt, injure, or bind you, and you also can never be hurt unless you allow it. Absolute knowledge about yourself and your relationship with God and the cosmos is the key to your redemption. In cases where the influence of the evil power is identified or realized, spiritual baths, amulets and prayers are sometimes prescribed to strengthen or to increase the force of its psychic shield and thus neutralize the effect of the evil energy, causes from the soul. Some diseases are the effects of previously existing causes. Soul causes are those that have not been created by a man during his present life, but which he has created during a former existence. For such cases, there are two ways of tackling the problem. The first is to wait patiently until the evil force or the karmic effect is exhausted and the law of justice is satisfied. This is because even if the just retribution for our sins could be evaded by the grace of a master at one time, it would only be postponed, and the evil would return at another time with an accumulation of interest and with increased force. The second is to help the patient speed up his process or awareness by giving himself as a living sacrifice unto God through divine service to mankind. With the dawn of awareness comes the dissolution of ignorance, pain, and the purgatory of disease.
Cures for soul type of diseases. The one certain tool to expedite healing here is soul processing. Nature, the true physician.
In all of the causes enumerated above, the physician is only an arm of nature to supply the natural inputs for nature to do her work. No physician can claim to cure or know the exact moment when the cure could be effected. The true physician must have the knowledge of the patient's ailment and be able to inspire the faith of his patient. In fact, the true physician is the soul and works its miracles through the body. To accomplish this, deep insight into the causes and treatment of diseases, spiritual perception, spiritual knowledge, and spiritual power are needed, and these qualities belong not to the human in man, but to the light of the spirit that shines through him. Modern allopathic medicine seeks to treat diseased organs that are merely effects of internal causes. It would be gross ignorance to see a flame through a window and conclude that the window is burning. It may be a flower vase, refrigerator, or some furniture which is burning. It may be the whole house burning from within. The diseased spot, like the window, is only the weak spot through which the ailment is exhibiting itself. The best way of dealing with diseases is to treat the cause, and the effect will vanish. The major cause of all diseases is ignorance, and spiritual awakening is the cure. Spiritual awakening is the only talisman that ensures a truly impregnable protection against the onslaught of evil vibrations. Today, with soul processing, the spiritual mind science of the Etherian mission, you can scientifically remove the evil of the soul and thus set the soul free and also make it immune to evil vibrations.
What you have learnt so far.
There are many causes of disease. Disease is a clear indication that you are either interfering with life's process or obstructing it. It is important to seek the right type of physician for the type of cure needed. All that a physician does is to provide what is missing or remove what is in excess, and then allow nature to do the healing. Nature alone is the true healer. It is important to be health conscious and have a health plan. Practical application of the topic. Science has proven that Moses, the great Redeemer, was right when he gave a few directions in Leviticus 11 as to what must be taken in and what must not. The flesh of animals with undivided hoof, like the swine mentioned in the scriptures, have been proven to be highly digestible in the system, thus leaving a lot of urea in the system. Excess urea could lead to kidney and bladder problems, which in turn could lead to diseases of the heart and hypertension. Other food substances with similar effects are unscaled fishes, snails, and other shellfishes. Animal fatty foods are enemies to the heart. One person dies in every 3 minutes in Britain, according to their 1985 statistics, and the cause is the intake of food with high cholesterol derived from fatty animal foods. I say this without any reservation that it is an extremely dangerous thing to promote intake of pork in a third world country like Ghana, when Britain and the other advanced countries are now doing their best to discourage the intake of fatty animal foods. There is nothing spiritually wrong with the intake of pork, but when the body is diseased, the mind will follow suit, and the soul's expression will be dim. Highly spiced foods cause a rise in lustful passions. Food colorings and preservatives are of very great dangers to the system. It is richer and healthier to take in coconut milk than the chemicalized soft mineral drinks. It is not surprising that the shelves of Britain and other European countries are mushrooming with varying natural fruit drinks that are expensive but healthy. However, taking fruits in their natural, unprocessed states is far better. People in tropical West Africa must count themselves fortunate to have abundance of natural fruits like pawpaw, citrus fruits, pineapples and coconuts, etc. People who eat a lot of pawpaw are free from backaches because the pawpaw contains an organic chemical known as papain, which purifies and frees the spinal passageways of this problem. Inorganic foods in general, ranging from tin and chemically preserved foods and allopathic drugs, must be avoided as much as possible unless the need is absolute. There is nothing wrong in going to the hospitals for allopathic drugs, but that must be after other natural means of healing are exhausted or when unavailable. Naturopaths, for example, herbalists, must also learn to bury their false pride and refer cases that need specialized attention to the appropriate allopathic quarters. Similarly, there are diseases, the causes of which are beyond medical science and must be referred to expert herbalists or spiritualists. Certain diseases are best cured by surgery, but this also must be done as a last resort. Some doctors perform surgery at the slightest opportunity for the profit that is derived. This is very selfish indeed. Many women with gynecological complaints, quite often needlessly, suffer the knife of surgeons. I have always asked women who are supposed to undergo surgery for infertility and other gynecological complaints to seek second opinion before undergoing the stress of the theatre. In 80% of cases, the need for surgery is reversed. I do not see the justification of a gynecologist in advising a diagnostic surgery to be done on a woman with the complaint of infertility when the husband had first not been invited for a thorough medical examination, since a great number of cases of infertility are caused by weak or poor sperm yields. All of the unnatural food substances earlier mentioned are usually taken in for convenience or out of necessity. It is therefore important we have a program for neutralizing the effects of such substances in our bodies. A meaningful way to keep the system clean and healthy is to take a day in a week and have a lukewarm enema, the last thing before bed. On the following day, observe a fast and drink water throughout the day, breaking the fast in the evening with fruits or fruit juices only. For very beneficial results, this must be done on regular weekly basis. Through this exercise, waste matter in the lower column is eliminated. The whole system is flushed by the drinking of water during the fast. This process cleans the kidney of impurities. The kidney in turn removes the impurities from the bile and the liver. The liver then becomes healthy to produce pure blood and health is maintained. Drinking immediately after meals is not an acceptable habit for good health. The food is rushed into the stomach, leaving the workload of digestion and assimilation of nutrients to the stomach to do. Other secretions necessary to help this process are eliminated. The pressure on the stomach becomes intense and constipation may result. Headaches, heartburns, stomach ulcers, and hemorrhage piles are often caused by poor digestion and constipation. A useful technique that cures chronic constipation is to drink half a pint of warm water last thing before bed and another half a pint first thing in the morning before brushing the teeth. The staleness in the mouth in the early mornings contains some digestive properties useful to the body. Another dangerous habit is excessive drinking, smoking, and intake of narcotic drugs, marijuana, cocaine, etc. The body's warning mechanism always sounds a warning when something is being taken in excess. The warning mechanism tells us when our food intake is enough. A morsel more becomes poisonous to the body. Tipsiness, experienced during the intake of an alcoholic beverage, is a warning that the body will be destroyed slowly with another drop. Overindulgence in sexual habits weakens and saps the vitality necessary for higher spiritual growth and expression. In all of these areas of concerns, we need to realize that moderation is the key. Regular but gentle exercise is recommended for the elimination of waste matter as well as encouraging circulation. Recreation is very necessary for the maintenance of health. A suggested recreational habit is to involve in games like swimming, playing lawn tennis, or martial art like taekwondo. While taekwondo is total in its beneficial effect, it must be practiced under the tutelage of a disciplined and cultured spiritual master. Apart from building a body of steel, the mind is also trained into focused alertness and inner confidence is built. If martial art training is not done under a disciplined master, it could become an instrument of aggression and oppression instead of it being used to free the weak and the oppressed. Hatha yoga is a nourishing exercise and can be enjoyed by the young and the old for health and relaxation. Another useful way to a healthy life is singing. Music has a way of soothing the mind, releasing the nerves from tension and equilibrating the body's metabolic and catabolic operations. The type of songs to be sung must be selected with care. Dull, morbid, and sorrowful songs would produce the effect as stated under psychological diseases, and the reverse is true. Above all these, be yourself and accept health as your natural condition. Need for a health plan.
It is important that each person designs a health plan for himself. This health plan may include, among other things, a yearly or periodic thorough medical examination. Women may include scans and swabs for the early identification of breast and cervical cancers. Prevention is always better than cure, and early detection of disease ensures a quicker healing. Often, such preventive screenings are least considered by many. The question to ask yourself is, how cheap is my health? The answer to that must guide your choices of food, rest, and recreation. Your health plan must also accommodate a program to examine yourself to identify such disease, causing elements like hurt, jealousy, anger, negative self-image, fear, worry, anxieties, envy, etc. Importantly, set aside some funds for self-improvement, mystical and metaphysical literature, and give yourself time to read and meditate on them. The need for regular exercise and recreation cannot be overstressed. If your pursuits for money and the things money can buy leaves you with no time for your spiritual and health improvement programs, then that business constitute a curse and not a blessing to your life. Man, in his natural state in the jungle, had to flee from danger or hunt for food. This meant constant movement and exercise. Your body is made to exercise. A 20-minute exercise 3 times a week is equal to 1 hour of exercise, and that is all you need to enjoy the 168 hours in the week.
If you must enjoy life to the full, then the quality of your life must be taken seriously. Many persons who pray for long life but do not have quality health programs are just inviting the curse of misery at their old age. Is it worth having a long life in a weak and degenerate body?
A meaningful quality life is all I ask of you. Detoxification.
A health program you can follow for physical well-being is to detoxify your body on a regular basis. From the air we breathe, the water we drink to the food we eat, we have accumulated lots of toxins in our bodies. Modernization and civilization, in their quest to improve our lives, has brought to us poisonous substances. We cannot, however, lead a meticulous and rigid life, being overly concerned as to what to eat, drink, or what to breathe. But we can do something about the accumulation of toxins in our bodies. Here is a useful program for detoxifying your body. 1. Start by taking warm water enema last thing before bed. 2. Follow this with a 3-8 days of fasting, eating only once in the evening. During the fast, drink about 6-8 liters of clean water at short intervals. Eat only light vegetables and fruits in the evening. 3. Do this program once in every 3 months. You will feel revived after each practice and will thus avoid many diseases. You can complement this with the major detoxification program, which involves the replacement of the fatty tissues of the body. In this program, you will need a specialist guide to the intake of specific vitamins, oils, and minerals while you do extensive aerobics or have sauna sessions. Such programs are available at the Etherian Mission Wellbeing Centers. I believe there are similar programs in many organizations worldwide. Perhaps your personal doctor may advise the detoxification center nearest to you. You may do this program once every 2 years. Affirmations on health and healing. 1. The infinite power of the universe knows how to maintain itself as me. I am now sustained and energized by the love of God, and I am radiating with health and cosmic vitality. 2. All that I need for health and radiant vitality is available through me now.